Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with another first listen review. And the band I'm about to babble about is one that nobody seems to care about, it seems, because every time I post a video on these guys, nobody watches it, but I don't care. I love this band, so I'm going to babble about them. They have a new album out called Domination, and the band I'm talking about is called Primal Fear. And the reason I wanted to do this one is because if anybody's a fan of Primal Fear knows, half the band, actually over half the band, quit last year. I don't know what the reasons were. If it was musical differences is what the usual reasoning is. I can understand it listening to this album because they've tried a few new things on here. So I was pleasantly surprised. A few things that were kind of but we'll get into it here. The new people in the band, kind of a returning member, I guess, is Magnus Carlson. He's worked with them in the past. Is back with them. And we have Thalia Belazeka on guitar. Not familiar with her, but hopefully I pronounced that right. And then we have a drummer who's been around quite a bit. His name is Andre Hilgers, been in a few different bands, but he's with these guys now. And of course we have Ralph Scheepers and Matt Sinner still in the main guys. So right off the bat you're going to get Primal Fear sounding stuff. They kind of been labeled as power metal, but I just kind of call them heavy metal. They tend to, I see why they get the label of power metal. However, they did try a few new things on here, so which is why I said I can kind of understand the musical differences thing, if that was actually a real thing. However, they start with a song called The Hunter, which is basically a power metal fist pumping anthem. So I guess, start with what people know. They do, the songs, the first four songs are really hard rock and heavy songs. They do stick to like that type of feel. However, not quite as chanty choruses from that point on. There's a song here though, This Is Primal Fear, which I think they did a video for. I didn't watch it, but I did enjoy the song. So those first four are really good. I did notice the more melodic guitar playing and more, I don't know how to describe it, more like major sounding instead of the evil minor sounding diminished leads. Like some songs it was more a lot of dueling harmonies and stuff. Magnus is a killer player, and more along the style you would expect to hear from him, so that was pretty cool. However, it does get a little bit more typical here along the lines. There's a song called Heroes and Gods. It just kind of gets a little intense, but then the chorus really doesn't go anywhere. And there's a 7-minute song ballad where actually Ralph sings really cool, low, deeper vocals. I like the sound of his voice when he sings the lower stuff. And there's a girl on here named Melissa Lobani from the Bad Ad Infinitum, which I'm probably gonna have to check out because I'm really not familiar with them. They sound great singing. The song, however, doesn't really go on enough of a journey for it to be that long. So that's the one thing I didn't enjoy about that. The song, it was decent, just really didn't go anywhere. And then there's a couple on here that are like, sounds like from the old catalog, Scream and Dead Don't Die, just kind of, something they pulled out just to have on the album. And being 13 songs on here, I think they could have not done that, in my personal feel. Although there is a song on here called Crossfire. It comes a little bit late, which kicks, but that song is probably the best one on the album. Really good. And then there's a weird one on here called March Boy March, which is probably my least favorite one on the whole thing. Got some weird EDM sounding type thing going on there. Didn't really know what to make of that. And then it closes with a really cool thing with Ralph singing in a very low register. It actually reminded me of Udo when he does his like speak singing type thing and some of the accept stuff. I thought for a second maybe he had him guesting on it, but no, it's Ralph singing really low. And it's kind of a closing ballad. It's really short. And then I thought it was a cool way to end the album. So overall, I liked the cool, riffs that they came up with in here. There's some stuff that sound more interesting than just the tried and true power metal stuff. And it's not just, double kick the entire time. They actually change up the tempos a little bit and actually have some really memorable riffs going on there. Some really cool vocal melodies throughout, aside from maybe the 3 songs that I mentioned that were kind of, I don't know, that March by March I didn't care for at all. Dead Don't Die kind of gets a little bit repetitive and whatnot, but other than that, pretty good. I think they could have done without those 3, and they would have had like a great album. This album, maybe with 10 songs on it, would have been great. I didn't need the extra. I kind of like the shorter albums more nowadays, more than the 45-minute mark. It's kind of where I am at my point in life. I don't need all the extra songs, especially if they don't really do anything for the album. Like I said, they're not bad. I just, except for the one, March by March, I didn't care for it all. But other 2 were, they're all right. They were okay. I mean, I wouldn't skip over them, but to make a really super strong album, I think they could have just made it a little bit more like a 10-song album. But that's my only personal little nitpicky thing, I guess. As always, feel free to tell me what you guys think of this. Do you like this band? What do you think about the change up? They changed old members quite a few times. Nothing new for these guys, but I like the new. I like what they did, so I can't complain. Enjoyed the album. As always, like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because I'm sure they're going to try some newer stuff, if they on their next release. And the way they've been going, this is a really quick release of the album. This is only a couple of years, I think, since the last album came out. It wasn't very long. So, I'm sure we'll hear something soon. And until then, we will see you.